Hi, good morning students. So in the last class we are discussing problems based on R is equal to rho L by A, and the two based on integration method, like when area of cross section is variable or the resistivity of the material is variable. So some more problems are there based on that expression. So let us see those problems. So then the resistivity, conductivity of the material is varying here. Suppose I am taking a cylindrical conductor like this. So cylindrical conductor of area of cross section A and this length L I am taking here. Now the conductivity of this material varies with the distance x as, where x is defined like this along its length. So that conductivity of the material is sigma naught into L by root x, right? So I am taking this conductivity of the material is varying according to this equation. Then we need to find resistance of this material, and if suppose some potential difference say V naught is applied across this, we need to find the say current density and electric field. So write that problem. The conductivity of a conductor, of a cylindrical conductor of area of cross section A and length L varies with the distance x from one end as, right, is sigma is equal to sigma naught into L by root x. Sigma is equal to sigma naught into L by root x. Find a resistance of this conductor. Find resistance of this conductor. Next question in that, if V naught is the potential difference applied across its ends, if V naught is the potential difference applied across its ends, then find current density and intensity of electric field at any point inside the conductor. So first let us see the resistance calculation. If resistance we calculated, the remaining we can solve them easily. So then here I am taking this element here when it is at a distance of x. So here I am taking this element like this. That means this element is in the form of a circular disc, because we are cutting a small element of this cylinder. So this is at a distance of x, and this width I am taking as dx here. So let us write resistance here. Now current is flowing along this direction here. Some current I is flowing along the direction, right? So for the small element I am writing here. For small element, the resistance I can write as dr is equal to rho into now dl. dl means the length through which current is entering. So it is crossing only a length of dx here. So dx by this pi r square. That pi r square is nothing but area A is given. So directly I am substituting that area A, because area is same for every element here, right? And here next this instead of this resistivity, conductivity is given. So we can write this as dx by sigma into A we can write. So this rho I am writing as 1 by sigma. So let us substitute the sigma value there. Therefore this dr is equal to dx by A into that sigma is nothing but sigma naught into L by root x. Therefore finally this dr is equal to root x into dx by sigma naught into A into L. To get the total resistance, just we need to integrate this. Therefore R is equal to 1 by sigma naught into A into L, integral of this x power 1 by 2 dx. Now the x value varies from 0 to L, because from one end to other end we need to integrate here. And so x power n formula simply So you can write this as R is equal to 1 by sigma naught into A into L, and this is x power 3 by 2 by 3 by 2 we can write. X power n formula 0 to L, right? And so therefore I can write this as 2 by 2 L power 3 by 2 by, and this value we can write it as 3 into sigma naught into A into L, and L you can simplify there. Therefore finally that resistance of that material I can write this as 2 into root L by 3 into sigma naught into A we can write. So this is the now say resistance of that material, right? And next they are applying a potential difference of V naught. Therefore by Ohm's law we can write the current. So by Ohm's law I can write this I is equal to V by R. So this is V naught by, that R means we need to substitute this 2 into root L by, this is 3 into sigma naught into A. Therefore finally I can write this as 3 V naught into sigma naught into A by 2 into root L, right? And so next here let us say this is the current here. Now we need to write current density. So current density is nothing but, so we can define that current density as, we know the definition of this current density. So current density J is equal to I by A. So then current per unit area is nothing but our current density here. So then its value will be like J is equal to I by A. This A value simply we can write this side. So you can write this as 3V naught into sigma by 2 into root L, right? So this is a current density which is a constant value. So that current density is now independent of position we can write. At any point it will be uniform throughout the cross section of this conductor there, right? And next here they are asking about electric field at any point inside the conductor. So here don't confuse with that. Previously in electrostatics we mentioned that electric field at any point inside the conductor will be 0, right? So that is in electrostatics. In electrostatics, that means where there is no flow of any charges, electric field inside the conductor will be 0. But whenever current is flowing through the conductor, electric field inside the conductor should not be 0. Because here you know, and when we were discussing about drift velocity, we discussed already, because of this electric field only the electrons were present in that inside the material or accelerating, right? And so whenever current is flowing through the conductor, electric field must be present inside the conductor. So you should not answer it as 0 with the knowledge of electrostatics. So don't confuse with that. In electrostatics, that means where there is no flow of charges or where the charges are at rest, the inside the conductor electric field must be 0. But in current electricity, where the current is flowing, so whenever current is flowing through the conductor, electric field inside the conductor should not be 0. There will be some finite electric field inside the conductor. Is it clear? So remember this point. Don't confuse with those both the statements there. And so now let us write this electric field here. I will write here. So the electric field I can write this as, so here to write this electric field, simply I will remind one relation here. We know the relation between electric field and density, current density. So we know electric field E bar is equal to, or let us write magnitude here, E is equal to like rho into J, right? Or I can write this as E is equal to J by sigma we can write, because here we know the sigma value here instead of this rho. And therefore I can write this as, so simply you can substitute those values here. We know the J value and we know the sigma value also. So J value is nothing but 3V naught into sigma naught by 2 into root L, right? Now the sigma value we need to write. So the sigma value is nothing but sigma naught into L by root X. This is our sigma value, right? And so that sigma naught and sigma naught we can cancel. Therefore this electric field I can write this as 3V naught into root X by 2 into this value will be, I can write this as L root L or L power 3 by 2 you can write. And so this will be the electric field here at a distance of x from this conductor, x from this one end. So now here you can observe this electric field inside this conductor is now variable in this problem. So it is varying with the distance x here, right? So that is a way of calculating here. So when I am discussing this relation, there I mentioned that in the electric field inside the conductor calculations, generally we need to use this relation here. Either E is equal to rho into J, or we can use this as E into sigma. Actually, E into sigma is equal to J. As E is required here, required quantity, I am writing the sigma this side there. So right. So that is a calculation of this electric field here. And next, let us see one more problem here. For the same conductor, we need to calculate the resistance of the conductor in different directions. You will get the different expressions there. So I am taking this 1/4 of a annulus disc. So diagram I should get some clarity here. This is I am taking like this. So to get this clarity, so this is the annulus disc here, 1/4 of the annulus disc of inner radius A and outer radius B, and having some thickness rho. Sorry, having thickness H, and rho is the resistivity of this material. So when current is flowing along the different directions like this, when it is flowing along x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis, we need to find the resistance of this. So write that problem. A conducting medium in the form of quarter of annulus having inner radii A and outer radii B, thickness H is as shown in figure. If sigma is the conductivity of the material, then find resistance of the medium. When current is flowing along x-axis, y-axis, and along z-axis. Here simply remember, here x is radial along the radial direction and y is along the circumference. Y is lying in the plane of the disc here, like this, along the circumference of this disc, and z is perpendicular to that plane there. So if you want, you may mention that clarity. X is along radial, y is along the circumference along the plane of the disc, and z is perpendicular to the plane of the disc, right? So that means it's in the form of a thick material here having some thickness. When current is flowing along those directions, we need to answer resistance there, right? And so that we are taking some thick material like this in the form of a disc here. So you can calculate easily when current is flowing along the z-axis, right? Because no variable is there when current is flowing along the z-axis. Just when you are applying potential difference between inner and top surface, bottom surface and top surface, current will flow from inner surface to outer surface. So directly you can write the resistance of such a medium when current is flowing along the z direction there. So for x and y only, we need to take some elements method there. So by taking small elements, we need to answer about this x and y, right? So first of all, I am writing about this x direction when current is flowing along the x axis. So when I, that means current is along x axis, right? When current is along the x axis, that means when current is flowing, when you are applying the potential difference between inner and outer radii, inner and outer surface. So then current flows from inner to outer surface. That is our x direction here. Radially, current will flow radially. So right. So for that we need to take one element here. So I am taking small element here. So with the radius r, I am taking this small element here, right? So this is the element what I am getting there. That means actually we need to take it as a small element and some width dr also we need to consider here. So I am taking like this. Right. So now our element is this one. So this also I am drawing it as a continuous line. So now this is our element here. Current is flowing along this direction here. It is entering here and it will comes out here, right? That means our element will be like this. If this is the thickness h, this thickness is h if you are considering, then our element will be like this. This current is entering here and it is coming out here. This thickness is h. That you should remember. Current is flowing along the radial direction. So this radius we are taking as r. This element where for this element the radius as r I am taking. Do you got the clarity about this element? So our element we are taking like this. If annular disk is like this is the thickness h. So in that we are cutting this small element here. If you cut a small element like this, then you will get like this. This is a radius is r, this thickness is h and this is dr here. So current is flowing along this radial direction. Got it? Now we need to apply this rho L by A formula for this. So rho L means it is dr. Current is flowing through a length of dr. Area means then this area we need to write here. This area we need to write. Area is entering through this area. So right, this area we can write as this length into and this height we need to write here. This height is nothing but h and this length we need to write there. Got it? And so then that I can write this as, now for small element dr is equal to rho means it is 1 by sigma, conductivity is given there, into dr by that area of cross section we need to write. So area of cross section is nothing but, I can write this as the length of this part we need to write here. The length of this part is nothing but, I can write this as pi r by 2 into h. Got the clarity about this? Why I am taking pi r by h, pi r by 2? This length we need to write here. This length into this height we need to write. So this length is nothing but, it is a 1/4 of the circle you will get, because this annular disk itself is 1/4 of the disk here. And so this is 1/4 of the circle means total circle is 2 pi r. So then its circumference is nothing but 2 pi r by 4. So that means pi r by 2. So this length into this area. That means if I am taking an element like this, then this length is, we are getting it as pi r by 2 and this height. So then you will get this area here, right? So then you can simplify this. Therefore this dr is equal to, I can write this as 2 into dr by sigma into pi into h into r. So therefore this r is equal to 2 by sigma into pi into h is a constant, then integral of dr by r we can write. Now the r varies from, r is nothing but radial distance only, r varies from a to b. So I can take the limits as from a to b. So the resistance along the x direction that I am taking as x. So then I can write this as 2 by sigma into pi into h into ln b by a. Got it? So that is the resistance along the direction. When current is flowing along the radial direction, the resistance of the material is given by this expression. Next, let us say when it is flowing along the y-axis. So this is the first part of the problem here. So the second part is when current is along y-axis. Y-axis means along the disk, along the circumference of the disk. So when you are applying potential difference between this end and this end, then current will flow along this. Now for this also, we need to take the same element only, but the direction of the flow of the current will be different. So here again I am taking the same element here, right? This element only I am taking here. But now here you should remember that current is entering from this side. So here current is flowing along this direction here for this. When you are calculating along this y-axis. So I am taking the same element only. When current is flowing along x direction means current is entering like this, right? When current is flowing from one end to other end of the annular disk means current for the same element, current is entering here. So that means now let us take the same element, but just we need to write current is flowing along this direction, right? So when current is flowing along this direction, when you are applying this rho L by A formula, L means this total length we need to write. The total length is nothing but pi r by 2, length through which. That means current is traveling from here to here. It will comes out here. So that means this total length we need to write. And area of cross section means this area of cross section we need to write. That area of cross section is nothing but width is dr and this height we are taking as h. So h into dr we need to write. Got it? How to apply for the small element? So then I can write this as, again I am writing for small element. So for that small element dr is equal to, then sigma we need to write here, then length is pi r by 2 by sigma into area. So listen this area clearly, h into this length we need to write here. That means here our element area will be like this. This is our dr here, this thickness is dr and this length is h. So current is entering through that area there. So h into dr we need to write. Got it? And so now let us simplify this. So therefore dr is equal to pi r by 2 into sigma into h into dr. Now again observe this, dr is there in our denominator. So when dr is there in denominator, how to solve that? You can't integrate this directly. When dr is there in denominator, we should reverse the fraction. So what actually means is, all these elements will be in parallel. When you are applying potential difference between these two, all those elements will be in parallel. We are dividing the element like this. All those elements will be in parallel. So then we need to reverse the fraction and then we should apply this. That means 1 by r is equal to 1 by r1 plus 1 by r2 plus 1 by r3 and so on. Like that we need to calculate the resistance there. So that means 1 by r is equal to integral of 1 by dr we need to write. So which I can express this as, this is the resistance along the y-axis there. So you can reverse this, 2 sigma h into dr by pi into r. So 1 by ry is equal to 2 sigma h by pi is a constant, then integral of dr by r, and again the limits are varying from a to b, r limits. Therefore this 1 by ry is equal to, so this is 1 by ry. 1 by ry is equal to, I can write this as 2 sigma h by pi into ln b by a. So then to find the ry value, we need to reverse the fraction there. Therefore ry is equal to, I can write this as pi by 2 sigma h into ln b by a. Now this ln b by a is in denominator. So this is the resistance when you are writing for this, when the current is flowing along the circumference of the disk. So got it? So for the same element, the direction of flow of current will be along the different directions when you are flowing along the radial and when the current is when you are taking this along the circumference. And accordingly the area and length of those elements are changing, and just we need to observe this length and area of cross sections there, right? So for the same element we are writing there. So that is along x and y directions. And next let us consider about the z direction. So about the z direction means we are applying a potential difference between the bottom and the top surface of this conductor there, right? So when you are applying between the bottom and the top, then nothing is variable. Every element will have the same potential difference, same length and same area of cross section. So we can apply the formula directly there. Our potential difference between top and bottom. So when I is along the z axis, this is our third case. When I is along z axis, so I can write this as Rz is equal to rho into L. L means length through which that current is flowing. So you can observe this current is flowing from bottom to top, bottom surface area to top surface area. So how much length it is traveling? It is traveling a length of thickness of this plate, which is nothing but h. So then it is h by area. Through how much area current is flowing? Through the entire area of this disc here, 1/4 of the disc. So that is nothing but pi into b square minus a square by 4, because it is a 1/4 of the total annulus disc there. And so then I can write this as, therefore this Rz is equal to 4 into rho into h by pi into b square minus a square, you can write. So this is a resistance along the z axis. Got it? So that is a for the same medium, the resistance will depend on the direction of flow also, and so that is a direction of the basing on the direction of flow of the current, that is the resistance calculations for the same medium, right? And so those are some problems based on this rho L by A. And some more problems are based on this, some more problems are there based on the topics which we discussed till now, basing on like electric field calculations or flux calculation problems are also there basing on this. So let us see some problems related to the electrostatics and current electricity. And here one problem is there basing on the drift velocity, which is a very simple problem and important also. And first write that problem basing on drift velocity calculation, the drift velocity formula, and it's the previous mains question also. So write that when current is flowing through a conductor of length L, when current is flowing through a conductor of length L, when current I is flowing through a conductor of length L, find net momentum of all the electrons, net momentum of all the electrons, net momentum of all the electrons. In brackets write small m is the mass of electron, E is the charge of the electron. All the electrons in the sense we are discussing about conduction electrons only, not the electrons involved in the bonding. So only about the free electrons we are discussing there, right? And so now here momentum we need to calculate. So momentum of all the electrons we need to calculate there, right? So momentum of one electron I am writing here, for example. So momentum of one electron. So momentum of one electron we can write this as, so momentum of one electron, mass of electron into its velocity. Its velocity is nothing but generally we consider it as a drift velocity, right? So I am taking it as Vd, so m into Vd. Then momentum of all electrons means momentum of all electrons. So that is our total momentum, number of electrons into this momentum of one electron we need to write. Because we assume a general model of this atom, all the electrons will accelerate opposite to the direction of electric field. Such an assumption we are taking here. And so that this total momentum I can write this as the total number of electrons we need to write. The total number of electrons I can write as n into, this is small n is the number of electrons per unit volume into volume of this element we need to write. So volume of element means A into L I am writing. This is capital N, right? And so then this value we can write as M into Vd, momentum of one electron. Got it? One momentum of one electron into total number of electrons we are writing here. The total number of electrons I can write as N is the number of electrons per unit volume, which we already used in the drift velocity calculation, into A into L. A into L will give us a volume, so that it gives a total number of electrons there. And so then this is equal to N into A into L into M into Vd. This Vd means we know the drift velocity formula, we can substitute the drift velocity formula. I can write this as I by NAE, right? We know the drift velocity and current relation. So drift velocity we can write as I by NAE, where N is number of electrons per unit volume, A is area of cross section, and E is the charge of the electron. And therefore this can be written as, this N will be cancelled and A will be cancelled. So finally I can write this as I into M into L by E. So that is the momentum of all electrons. They will give the numericals, they will give some I value and L value. You can substitute in those expressions there, right? So that is momentum calculations, momentum of electrons in calculation. It's a previous mains question only. And next here, one more question is there like this. So like two conducting materials are joined here having different say conductivities. And suppose say I is the current flowing through this arrangement here. So these are the two materials having say same area of cross section A. Area of cross section is same for both of them. And this sigma is a conductivity of the material, so they are having the different conductivities there. So A in sigma 1, and this is also area of cross section A and sigma 2. So that is the information there. Now we need to calculate that how much charge is developed across the junction. So at the junction how much charge is developed there. So write that problem. Two conductors of same area of cross section A. Two conductors of same area of cross section A are joined joined as shown in figure. Sigma 1 and sigma 2, sigma 1 and sigma 2 be the conductivities of those rods. Let I is the current flowing through that combination. Let I is the current flowing through that combination. Then find charge developed across the junction. Then find charge developed across the junction. So in the same problem, sometimes instead of charge they will ask what is the flux, net flux passing through the junction. So if you know the flux, then we can calculate the charge, or if you know the charge, we can calculate the flux. So then here that means some charge will accumulate at the junctions there when you are joining such a different materials there. So we need to find that how much charge accumulates at the junction. So basically what we can write is both are having same area of cross section, and so then current I is flowing through them. So current density will be same, right? So I can write this as current density J is equal to, that means I by A, right? So as I and area of cross sections are same, I can write this as J1 is equal to J2. Current densities in both the materials will be same. So now, but this E is equal to, or E into sigma is equal to J, right? We know already this relation. E is the electric field, sigma is the conductivity, and J is the current density. So therefore I can write this relation as E1 into sigma 1 is equal to E2 into sigma 2. This is equal to our current density J, whether J1 or J2, right? And so now here This is one relation here. Suppose I am finding this E2 value from this. So E2 is equal to, I can write this as E1 into sigma 1 by sigma 2 I can write. And so now here I am writing the net flux passing through the junction. Net flux through the junction. So net flux through the junction I can write this as, so that I can write this as some E1 into A minus E2 into A. Here electric fields in both the materials will be in the same direction, that will be say in the direction of this current. So E1 is along this direction and E2 is along this direction here. So at this junction current entering is, flux entering is E1 into A and flux leaving is E2 into A, right? And so then net flux is nothing but flux entering minus flux leaving I am writing here. So E1 into A minus E2 into A I am writing here, that is the net flux through the junction. And just we apply the Gauss law here. So by Gauss law, I can write this as integral of E bar dot ds bar is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed Q in, right? And so now this flux we already calculated here. So I can write this as E1 minus E2 into A is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed. And therefore from this we can calculate the charge enclosed. Therefore this will be E1 minus E2. That E2 value now we can substitute from this. So I am substituting from this equation here, that E1 value I am eliminating that. So I can write this as E1 minus E1 into sigma 1 by sigma 2 into A into epsilon naught. This epsilon naught also we are writing this side. So let us take this E1 common, then sigma 2 minus sigma 1 by sigma 2 into E1 into A into epsilon naught, right? And so now that is, so this, let us keep in this, we need to convert finally in terms of this, in terms of the I value here, because E1 is not there. So just I am taking this expression like this. Let us keep like this only, because finally we need to write in terms of I only, because E1 and E2 values are not given here. The given information is only I, A and sigma, right? So just I am keeping this expression like this. Next here what we can do is, I am taking that sigma common here. So when you are taking that sigma common, see this, Q is equal to 1 by sigma 1 minus 1 by sigma 2 into sigma 1 into E1 into A into epsilon naught. Got it? From this expression I am taking the sigma naught common. And so this I can write this as Q in is equal to 1 by sigma 1 minus 1 by sigma 2 into the sigma 1 into J1, sigma 1 into E1 is nothing but you can observe here, that is J, current density. So I can write this as J into A into epsilon naught. Got it? Now this we know that gives us I value, current. And so I can write this as, therefore charge enclosed is equal to 1 by sigma 1 minus 1 by sigma 2 into I into epsilon naught. So this is the charge enclosed at this, charge developed or accumulated at the junction there, when two different materials are joined together. So sometimes here instead of asking the charge, they may ask the flux. If they ask flux, simply we write this epsilon naught this side. Q by epsilon naught is nothing but our flux there. So then 1 by sigma 1 minus 1 by 2 sigma 2 into I we can write there. So that is a simple charge enclosed at the junction calculation. That means it is a combination of current density and this Gauss law there. So that means in conductors, when different conductors are joined together, then Gauss law we apply like that. Got it? And next term. And let us see some more problems based on the combination of electrostatics and this current electricity. Like here I am taking this, this is a cylindrical conductor. It's a very long cylindrical conductor having, say, suppose a radius R. I am taking this as a radius A, right? And having this surface, that means charge density lambda, uniform charge density lambda. Now it is moving with the velocity V naught along its direction, along its length. So we need to find the current flowing due to that movement of the cylindrical rod in its path. So write that problem. A long cylindrical rod of radius A having linear charge density lambda is moving with the constant velocity V naught, along its length. Then find current flowing in that path due to the moment of the cylinder. Current flowing in that path due to the moment of the cylinder. Right? So just here, I know we know the electric field formula here. Electric field on the surface of this conductor. Suppose I am writing here. So the electric field we can write it as lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught, or we can write R means here A I am taking here, right? That is at a point just outside this conductor we can consider here, since we are assuming this length of the rod is very large, right? Now here I am taking this small element here. Suppose I am taking this small element of this rod here. Say, let us say it is a dx here, right? I am taking one element. I am discussing about that one element of this conductor now, right? And so now charge present on that conductor I can write as dq is equal to lambda into dx we can write. That is the charge present on that conductor. And so now here that element is moving with the velocity v naught we can consider there, right? So that means we are taking this entire rod is moving here. When that entire rod is moving, I can consider that that element is moving with the velocity v naught I can write. And so that I can write this expression as current expression as dq by dt I can write. And actually from this, dq by dt we can write. And so now here I can write this as lambda into dx by dt, right? And therefore this is lambda into this dx by dt is nothing but velocity of this rod you will get. So lambda into v naught, that gives the current flowing in that path there, right? So if lambda is given, directly we can find this current flowing in that path like this. So in some cases lambda, instead of lambda they will give the electric field there. So let us write in terms of electric field. So for that actually we need to write this expression. So I mentioned in the beginning there. So if E is given as, in our problem I gave the lambda as a surface charge density. If lambda is given, then our problem is over here. With this lambda into V naught is nothing but the current flowing in that path we can answer. Got it? Now what I am saying is, instead of giving the linear charge density, they will give the surface electric field on the surface of the conductor there. So that problem now I am explaining here. If E is given as electric field on the surface of conductor, then this E value we can write as lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught A, right? So just from this we calculate this lambda value here. So 2 pi epsilon naught into E into A. Got it? Now just we substitute that lambda value here. Then you will get answer in terms of E you will get. Therefore this I is equal to 2 pi epsilon naught into E into A into V you will get, or V naught. So now this is the current in terms of electric field there. So if lambda is given, then directly you can answer this as our current. If electric field on the surface is given, on the surface of conductor is given, then we need to answer about this electric field there, right? So next let us see one more problem based on this. Electrostatics, combination of electrostatics and current electricity. So just I am taking this this is a spherical conducting shell of radius r. It is connected with another spherical shell of radius 2r, and which are very far away from each other. They are very far away from each other. There is no influence of one on the other. So initially both of them are given this q and q. So initial charges will be q only on both the spheres. So now at any instant of time we need to find current flowing through that, right? So let us write that. Two conducting spheres of radii r and 2r are very far away from each other, and are connected by a wire having resistance R. If Q is a charge given to each sphere, if Q is the initial charge given to each sphere, then find expression for current flowing through the resistance at any instant of time t. Right? So that means those two are having same charge, but the radius are different here. So then initially we know that charge flows from high potential to low potential. So it will be having some higher potential there when compared to that. So charge is assumed to be flowing from this sphere to that sphere. So right. So here I am taking this charge present on this is at any instant I can consider it as q minus q, where q is the charge flowing through this, and a charge on this we can consider it as q plus q, right? And so now let us write the potential of the first sphere. So potential of the first sphere I am writing here at any instant this is. So first I'll write that assumption that let a small q, let an amount of charge small q is transferred from the sphere of radius r2 from the smaller sphere to bigger sphere, Then at any instant of time t, V1 potential of this sphere we can write as K of q minus q by r, and potential of that sphere V2 we can write as K of q plus q by 2r, right? So we need to write the potential difference between them, right? So because that potential difference should be equal to IR according to our Ohm's law. Therefore, now potential difference delta V is equal to V1 minus V2 is equal to, I am writing like K into Q minus Q by R minus K into Q plus Q by 2R. So let us simplify this. Therefore, this delta V is equal to K by R, you can take common, then 2Q minus 2Q minus Q by 2 you will get. And so which is nothing but I can write this as therefore this delta V is equal to the potential difference we can write as, so K by 2R into this charge expression will be here 2Q minus Q you will get, and this will be 3Q. So I can write this as Q minus 3Q you will get, right? So that is a potential difference. So by Ohm's law, we can write as delta V is equal to IR, we can write. And so that I can write this as K by 2R into Q minus 3Q is equal to IR. So now that I value now we need to write here. That I value we need to write it as, actually we need to find the current only. But here directly you can't say I is equal to this value. 1 by R of this value you can't say, because the small q is a variable here. So first we need to find the q value and then we need to find the current value, right? And so therefore this I can write this as K by 2 R into R Q minus 3Q into this I value I am writing as dQ by dt, right? So first we need to find an expression for the Q, and after that we need to find the charge expressions there. So from this I am writing this, I am just rearranging the terms here. dQ by Q minus 3Q is equal to K by 2 R into dt. Just we are rearranging the terms. This Q terms I am writing this side and dQ terms I am writing this side, right? And this is from 0 to t at any instant of time. So this is nothing but I can write this as minus 1 by 3 into ln Q minus 3Q, right? And so limits will be from 0 to Q, and this is Kt by 2R into R you will get. And just we need to further simplify this. So I can simplify this as minus 3 I am writing this side. So I can write this as ln Q minus 3Q by Q. When you substitute the limits here. So then instead of Q minus ln 0 means ln minus ln Q you will get. So that I am writing directly like this. This is minus 3 Kt into 3 Kt by 2 capital R into small r, right? And so this we need to convert it into exponential form, and then finally we need to write the expression for this small q here, right? And so that I can write this as Q minus 3Q is equal to Q into e power minus 3 Kt by 2 capital R into small r, right? And so therefore this Q is equal to, small q is equal to, or you can write this as 3Q is equal to Q of 1 minus e power minus 3 Kt by 2 capital R into small r, right? You can do the further calculation here. Q is equal to Q by 3 into 1 minus e power minus 3 Kt by 2 capital R into small r, right? And so that is the Q expression there. So now our question is about how much current is flowing. So how much current is flowing means either you can substitute this Q value here, or you can again find the dQ by dt value from this. That is your choice. Either you can differentiate this, as we know the Q value, now dQ by dt is nothing but current, right? Or otherwise you can substitute this Q value directly in this equation here. This is nothing but our current equation here. So you can directly substitute this 3Q value from this equation here, so that you will get the current expressions there. So in both the ways you can find it, that is your choice. So will you differentiate or you will substitute there? So that means just I am substituting this value here as a 3q is there, then 3q value I am substituting there. Therefore, this is nothing but k by 2r into r q minus 3q value I am substituting there. Therefore, I can write this as q of 1 minus e power minus 3 by 2 3 kt by 2 capital R into small r. And so that q term will be cancelled. So k by 2 r into r into e power minus 3 kt by 2 capital R into small r. Right? This is totally e power. So this is our expression for the current here. Even if you differentiate, you will get the same answer there. Even if you differentiate this equation, you will get the same answer here. So that is our current flowing through the resistance as a function of time there, right? And so when t value tends to infinity, the current will stops after some time there. So that is nothing but when both are getting the potential differences, same potential, that there is no further flow of the charges, then current will stops there, right? And so then maximum current in that case, for example, if they ask, maximum current is nothing but you can write this value here, k by 2 into r. So that is nothing but our maximum current you will get there, because the further current goes on decreasing there. So that is a way of finding the current or the maximum current. So mention about this also. So the maximum current here is maximum current. So therefore this I maximum is nothing but k by 2 small r into capital R, which is nothing but 1 by 8 pi epsilon naught into small r into capital R. Small r is the radius of the sphere and capital R is the resistance there. That means when t tends to infinity, then this value I value tends to this 0 here. That means current goes on decreasing. It's a decreasing function. And so maximum current is nothing but this expressions there. That is the maximum current flowing through that. Got it? So that is some problems based on the combination of electrostatics and this current electricity there, right? So that is some problems based on R is equal to rho L by A and this combination of current electricity and electrostatics. So in the next class, I will start about this how the resistance depends on the temperature. That is another factor affecting the resistance. So then in the next class, I will explain that how the resistance depends on the temperature, right? Thank you.